Hello and welcome back to Swapnil's analysis, and I am Swapnil. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting poem of Billy Collins, Forgetfulness. Forgetfulness was published in January 1990s, and this poem deals with the issue which is happens with all of us when we becomes old, when we becomes or post 70s or post 80s. Most of the time when people live that long, after age of 80, people start forgetting the things. Naturally, this process starts after the age of 75 in some people, but in most of the people, it starts from the age of 80. Now, there is no scientific proof of that all the people they do lose their memories post 80 or when they become the old 80 years old. But in most of the cases, most of the people, they start forgetting the things which they had learned throughout their life. I mean, the names of the places, names of their relatives, even their address, and even their own name. So here, Billy Collins, he talks about the issue which is going to happen with all of us when we all would become old. So how this process is going to start? This is has taken uh, by Billy Collins in this poem Forgetfulness. So here he thinks, means the poem starts the very interesting poem. The name of the author is the first to go, followed obediently by the title, the plot, the heartbreaking conclusion, the entire novel, which suddenly becomes one you have never read, never even heard of. So here he thinks that the first thing happens with us when we start forgetting the thing was the name of the author. Name of the author means not all of the author, name of the author of our favorite book, then the plot, and then the conclusion, then the everything, and then we reach to a spot where we feel that we had never ever heard of this book before. So that happens with us here. Try to understand, if it is our favorite book, then we read that book again and again, and when we start forgetting about the memories, about the author, about the why it's talking about the author, it is because we read so many books written by the same author if it is our favorite author. So when we start forgetting the name of the author, forget about the stories, the characters, the conclusion, and everything. That is here he wanted to draw our attention to. That it's not only related to author, it is related to our favorite things. Our favorite things we start to lose memory of when we become 80 plus years old. As if one by one, the memories we used to harbor decided to retire to the southern hemisphere of the brain, to a little fishing village where there are no phones. So here he has used the metaphor of losing memories as if we are stuck somewhere on the seashore or in some fishing village, and we want to go back to our place, our home, but there is no phone to inform or to contact the outside world. So we are stuck there. We cannot do anything. And therefore he says that one by one, our memories start losing us. We start forgetting the things we cherished, we have learned through hard work, by or through our whole life. That is, he is informing us. Long ago, you kissed the names of the nine muses goodbye and watched the quadratic equation pack its bag. And even now, as you memorize the order of the planets, something else is slipping away. A state flower, perhaps. The address of an uncle, the capital of Paraguay. So here he's talking about the you start means in the past this process start which had started, but you did not pay attention because that was not very important for you. But when you start forgetting the name of your favorite author, means for instance, the name of Shakespeare or the plays written by William Shakespeare, the plots, the characters, everything, then you start thinking about what is happening with me, because I, as far as I remember, I have read all the plays of Shakespeare. I knows the plots of the Shakespeare. I knows the characters of the Shakespeare. But suddenly, what happened? Therefore, he says that long ago this process had already started, when you lost the memories of your favorite maybe love affairs, because nine muses could be interpreted as your favorite love affairs when you were young. Then the mathematic equation means whatever you had learned in your school days, then the addresses of your uncle, and then the capital of Paraguay means about the general knowledge. It is not related to the country Paraguay, but it is symbolic of general knowledge. Gradually we start losing all the memories, everything which we have learned through out our life. Therefore, Paraguay, capital of Paraguay, it is related to the general knowledge. The address of uncle, we start losing means we start forgetting the names of our relatives, our children, our neighbor, even our own name. So that is the indication of that. Then he further says, whatever it is you are struggling to remember, it is not poised on the tip of your tongue, or even lurking in some obscure corner of your spleen. So, what happened when you realize finally that I'm losing something? I'm losing all the memories. I'm losing all my knowledge. I am forgetting everything. So, then you strain your brain, and then you start or then you strive to recollect your memories, then you strive, then you try to recollect the address of your uncle, the capital of Paraguay, the name of your favorite author. But your memory, your brain doesn't support you. That is the thing he is talking about. And then what he further adds to this situation, that naturally we tend to recollect the memories, we try to recollect, we try to remember the things, but our brain doesn't help us. And this is the thing which we do not share with the other. We when we are old, we sit very silently, and then we try to recollect, then we try to adjust and adapt to the changing situation of our body. That is the thing he is talking about. It has floated away down a dark mythological river whose name begins with an L, as far as you can recall. So your memories, they have all floated away in the name river begins with L, means the lost. As there is no evidence of any mythological river, in the same way the river which word starts with L means it is lost river. Lost mythological river means we lost everything in that river. Well, on your own way to oblivion, where you will join those who have even forgotten how to swim and how to ride a bicycle. So, last thing to forget, because it is said generally that we generally do not forget the things like reading, writing, swimming, and bicycle riding. These things, once we learned, once we master, we do not forget very easily. So these are the last thing, swimming and bicycle, which we forget how to write, how to swim, and then we are going to join the club of others who have already reached there, the other old people. No wonder you rise in the middle of the night to look up the date of a famous battle in a book on war. No wonder the moon in the window seems to have drifted out of a love poem that you used to know by heart. So when you realized it makes you restless. So suddenly you wakes up during the night. You try to remember the names of the books you have read. You try to remember the lines which were you knew very hard by heart to express your love, and then finally you realize that okay, now I have become old and I am forgetting things gradually. But you try to recollect all these things. You try, you do not give up. And this poem is a very simple poem which describes about an event which is going to happen to all of us when we would become that old, about 80 plus years old or 90 plus years old. So a very beautiful poem which I thought that I would share with you. Thank you for watching this poem. Thanks a lot.